Consider the text file coming into view. An earlier video in this playlist looked at how we can read the contents from this text file and display it on the visual display unit. And the program that did this is coming into view now. I explained how this program worked with reference to this schematic diagram. You can see here I have the text file being related to the operating system in the sense that it's part of the file system of the operating system. This Python program I'm showing here in the schematic diagram. Let's look to the first line of the program, and you can see we have got this statement here, the open my text file for reading. Now, when this executes, what's going to happen? A stream is going to be created between the Python code and the text file, as illustrated in the schematic diagram. The stream created will have the name my file, which is taken from here in the code. In other words, this creates the stream and it's assigned to my file. So my file is now the object reference to the stream. And if we consider the stream, we need to remember it is an object, which means it is an instance of a class, and that class will have various methods that can be used. And they're used by the instances of the class. In other words, the object, which in this case is clearly the stream. The program will then execute this program statement, and if you look at this part of the statement, you can see we're referring to the stream and we're going to invoke the read method associated with the stream. And this will result in the contents of this text file moving along the stream to the Python code where it is assigned to the variable content. The next line to execute is this, where we print the content to the visual display unit. And of course, the content will now hold what is in the text file, which are these two lines. So what you will see appearing at runtime is the following, where you can see the content of this file has appeared here because of this print statement. This program statement then invokes the close method of the object myFile. This will release the resources associated with the stream and also remove the stream. So the Python program has no connection to the text file. Let's now compare this computer program with the one that's just floated into view. Both programs will do the same thing. They will both display the content of the text file. When I say they do the same thing, they both will print the contents of the text file on the visual display unit. But look at the programs and you can see they are different. They both have the same open statement that will open mytextfile.txt as read. They both have a program statement that will read from the file its contents and assign it to the variable content. They then will print the content. Whereas this program will then close the stream and release resources. If you look at this program, there is no close there. Now that's because with this program, you're using this, which is an example of a context manager. Let's consider this computer program in a bit more detail. What we can see here is we have a context manager. And as the context manager, you can see we have used the word with, as, and we have a colon here. And immediately following the colon, we have indented code. Now, this indented code here is only one line, but there could be more than one line there. And whatever's indented in this position is referred to as the code block of the with statement. In other words, when you execute this manager, you will execute whatever here. So I must go on to stress that this print statement here is not part of this statement. it immediately follows this statement, which I'll repeat is an example of a context manager. I will now reflect the execution of this computer program onto the schematic diagram that we've already seen in this video, and that diagram is coming into view now. And you can see we have the Python code, which is this code here. We have the operating system, which is associated with my textfile.txt, which is, you can see, the name that I've placed here in the computer program. This program statement is in effect saying, with this type of file access, which you know is read, create a stream with this name, where of course this name is going to be the name of the object reference to the stream. So when this line executes, you're going to see a stream created between the Python code and the text file, as you can see below in the schematic diagram. Of course, we need to appreciate that this stream is going to have the name myfile because of this in the computer program. And we also need to reflect on the fact that the stream is actually an example of an object. It's an instance of a class that's responsible for producing these streams. Now, this program statement will execute, and you can see here we're using the stream and we're invoking the read method. Consequently, what this will do, it'll transfer the contents of this text file along this stream to the Python code, where it will assign the data to the variable called content. We will now leave this context manager and go on to execute this statement. But before I look at what this statement does, we have to realize that when we leave this context manager, it knows that it's dealing with file access, and it knows that it is opened a stream and set aside resources. So what it will do now is release those resources, as well as delete the stream that was there a moment ago. So when we actually get to this line, the stream and the resources will no longer be available. This program statement is then executed, and let me remind you, this statement is not part of the with statement. It comes immediately after. What this statement will do, it'll print what was read in from the text file, and what you will see displayed on the visual display unit is coming into view. Let's consider some issues associated with this computer program. The with statement guarantees that the file is appropriately closed once its block of code completes. In other words, as a computer programmer, you will not be responsible for using the close statement, the close method that's part of the stream object. It'll do this regardless of whether an exception is thrown. Using a context manager in the way shown in this computer program aids in more effective resource management and helps prevent resource leaks. In other words, it will clear up the memory, releasing more memory to be used by the operating system and your Python program. So what we can say crudely is, if you use this context manager, use this with statement, you are responsible as the programmer to open the file, but you don't have to worry about closing it down, as the with statement will take care of that for you.